Okay, good evening and welcome, truthers. The topic of tonight will be once again Planet X, the piercing star, the nightcomer, demystified. So I say, during my 10 years of research of Planet X Nibiru, I found the Islamic legacy to be the most reliable source, especially the eschatology part, which speaks about the end time events. So the Islamic legacy, including the Holy Quran and the saying of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, the narration of the Islamic saints, these are usually descent of the purified bloodline of the Prophet of Islam. Therein, in this legacy, there is a full detailed description of what they call the star with a tail. Also its nature and the precise date by day and month of its coming or crossing. And also there is plenty of signs and indicators of the year of the crossing. Now, since the Islamic calendar is a lunar one, it is practically impossible to foretell the year in advance. So all relies on sightseeing the new moon in order to determine the beginning of the Islamic year and when it will end. But if watching carefully the signs, one can for sure tell the Islamic year in which the crossing will take place. Now the Islamic legacy tells us too about the event of the crossing in detail, the guidelines which will guarantee the survival. In the saying of the Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, he said, those who are willing to follow this guideline for sure will survive, but those who will neglect those guidelines, the probability is 50-50, So from an Islamic perspective, the crossing or the flyby of Planet X Nibiru will take place on a Friday, which will coincide with the 15th of the holy month of Ramadan. Now about the year and the signs in which year this crossing will take place, I will talk about that later on because it needs a lot of time to explain. Anyway, those of us who think to be able to see Nibiru mini constellation or see Nibiru Planet X as a second sun, so that they may take few pictures with their iPhone or small cameras, so that they can convince themselves and then use those pictures to convince the deniers and support the claim that Nibiru is real. To those people I tell them good luck, because they don't have an understanding of this planet Nibiru called the nightcomer, of this dark star. Okay? If you think about it, the global elites, the governments of the world, because behind the governments of the world you have those who control the real rulers. They had to build the infrared astronomical satellite of the IRS, which was this project took place in 1983. It's a joint project of the United States, Great Britain, the Netherlands, and even Germany and France. Okay, it costed them billions of dollars, and they set this project of the infrared satellite, the base the terrestrial base to control was set in Amundsen Scott Bay in the South Pole, okay? Which allowed monitoring and evaluation of this Planet X. Shortly after, they announced that the project was decommissioned. Personally, I doubt that. I believe that it is still in use. And anyway, there has been a leakage of some of the images taken by the IRS showing a dark star glowing. Glow is not light but heat, since it's infrared. So it's a glowing star, glowing body shown into the infrared spectrum. Now ask yourself, why did they have to go to the South Pole, and why did they have to use the infrared technology? Okay? Anyway, I stop there. You can figure it out yourself. Whenever the topic of Planet X Nibiru is brought up, I usually get the question, so you think that Planet Nibiru is real? Will it collide with Earth? You mean it'll cause the end of the world? Now, you know my response, I say, if that were the case, then what is the problem? There shouldn't be any problem if it is going to be the end of the world. If I thought it is going to be the end of the world, I wouldn't be here talking to you. If Nibiru would cause the end of the world, that we are all going to die, then there shouldn't be problem at all to worry about. But I know that Planet X really does exist, okay? That it is heading our way. It won't collide with Earth, but it will cross the space at a proximity to Earth. Its crossing will cause a havoc and catastrophic destruction to Earth and life on it. I am here to talk about ways of survival, and I am not here to persuade or dissuade you, since I could read in the catalogue of the creation that the coming of the dark star will be sudden, okay? It will come at night, suddenly. Nobody can predict its coming. Those who are relying on the satellite, on the imaging, on the picture, good luck with that. Once it flies by, causing a cataclysm, then we are going to be able to clearly see it in our skies, because the luminous tail at the back of this dark star, dwarf star, will be so luminous that it is going to be possible for the people to sightsee it high in the sky. But I doubt that people will have time to report what they saw at that time, because everything is going to change. So whether it is called Nibiru, Planet X, Nemesis, Red Kachina, the Night Comer, the Dark Star, whatever, personally I don't see that of much importance. What's important is to know that this dwarf star does really exist, that it is heading towards Earth, and that is going to cause cataclysm, and it will bring with it events that the average person would never have imagined, okay? So after you watch and hear this video, you will discover the true reason for the cover-up and secrecy on Planet X. You will also discover the truth embargo on aliens, alien life and technology, on origins of man, on the archaeological findings, the cover-up on giant human skeletons and skulls that they have discovered in different parts of the world, and also the cover up on many other secrets. I'm gonna try to share some of them in this video. So the chain of events and the timeline of this incoming star, the consequences of the flyby, the aftermath of this coming crossing, and life beyond that event, the spiritual dimension it will bring with it, means and ways of the great deception that is going to be performed immediately on. It will start on the crossing, actually, okay? So then there will be mention of simple and most effective guidelines to survive the flyby, in order to avoid the physical and the spiritual dangers of the crossings and beyond. The Nibiru paradigm will shed some light on all these various aspects. All of the information contained in this video is free of any charge, no strings attached, okay, no agenda, so take it for what it is. And please, for the love of humanity, please try to share and spread this information, and use it as you see fit. You can even discard it, you know, it's up to you. So up to date, there is plenty of information on the internet about the existence of the so-called Planet X Nibiru, somewhere in space and approaching Earth. But still, you know, the people on this planet are divided in two groups. Those who have done their homeworks and that they came to the conclusion that there is a lot of truth about the existence of this planet, that it is coming. And then, of course, you have the majority, which is the group of the deniers. They will ask you, show me, tell me when it's going to come, you know. So what I'm going to talk to you about, and the information that I'm going to share with you, addresses those who already have done their homework successfully and are beyond the point of doubt and skepticism. This video is meant for those who believe, based on knowledge, observation, discernment that they have gathered through the years, that Planet X Nibiru is real and soon will be part of our reality, or better said, is soon to impact, reshape and remodel mankind's reality on this planet. Sincere truth seekers are welcome to watch and listen, with the hope that the following information will guide them closer to the truth. Remark: those who are still in denial, despite all the data already provided on the net and elsewhere, the reason of that is their lacking of basic knowledge in different disciplines. Okay? So normally any researcher must have basic knowledge of various disciplines in order to be able to sail, you know, in this ocean full of disinfo and lies put out there by certain people or group of people in order to misguide those people, or to lead them to a certain way of thinking, and you know, they are serving an agenda. But in itself, this is another topic, you know. There is no room to go in details. So let's go now to the important information, because there is not so much time left. So I tried, you know, to give you the most important information that someone must bear in mind. Beside the visual proof, the illustration, the real images, the movie, and the factual documentation, reports of Earth changes, the topic of Planet X brings with it more intriguing mysteries. Planet X topic has a physical and it has also a metaphysical dimension, okay? And let me be honest with you, in my 10 years of research, that research led me to strange hidden worlds, hard to grasp for the closed-minded people. My research of Planet X took me into the rabbit hole, okay? At the same time, it caused me a lot of ridicule, even from the closest people. But I don't blame them, Each time I keep saying to myself, he or she who loves last loves best. So, when I said the basic knowledge in the different disciplines, I mean someone who wants to come to the truth and the reality about this Planet X Nibiru must have understanding of the solar system, of the space, basic, not too much. He must not be professor, but there is a minimum of knowledge. Also, knowledge about Earth history, geology, archaeology, anthropology. Any dedicated researcher needs a minimum basic knowledge of those disciplines in order to sail in the ocean of truth, avoiding collision with the wrecks of lies, disinfo, and reaching the shores of safety on the other side, okay? Please don't get caught in the physical aspect and be stuck there. Rather move forwards and discover the other layers or aspects, because if you remain by observing the skies and the natural disasters taking place only, that won't guarantee your safety or salvation. Those who are waiting to see the two suns in the sky, as I said, good luck. They will tell you seeing is believing. Things are what they are. This star or dark star, dwarf star, you call it Planet X or Nibiru, it does orbit in a lower plane to the ecliptic. So, as I mentioned previously, the best location to help you sightseeing this is the south hemisphere, and it must be in a higher altitude and a clear sky, and you need to have the infrared technology, okay? Without that, in the northern hemisphere and that, well, good luck. Go figure. Anyway, now, the reason for the cover-up on Planet X and its coming is not because of the global elites or world governments are afraid that people will panic. Well, maybe to a certain extent. And not, they are not afraid that the people will panic and not go to work. They could care less. The truth embargo on UFOs, alien technology, which are exotic sources of energy, of communication, transportation, medical cures, is not because of the money. Because many people, they say to you, they don't want to disclose the alien technology because then the global elite won't benefit from the oil and all that stuff. That's not true. Because the global elites, they have all the money they need and all the material wealth. As I said, this is another topic because it will bring us to the topic, of the gold that have been gathered by the so-called aliens in different parts of the world, in Sumeria or in Africa or in South America. Just try to watch the documentary The Chariots of the Gods from Eric von Däniken, then you'll get to understand more about what I'm talking about. So this truth embargo, it is not because if they disclose the fact that we never been alone in this universe, that the religions would crumble, that they lose control on societies. That's not true at all. Actually, they would like that the people lose their religion, and they are trying very hard, to shove new ideologies and new religions in the throats of people. Okay, so it's not that's why it's not the reason why they did not lift the truth embargo, because they would tell you because they are afraid that the religions will crumble, and that no, not at all. Please bear in mind that the real rulers of our societies, or whatever you call them, the shadow government, at the top of the major institution, the military, NASA, Vatican, so forth, are people who are serving Lucifer. So how can you expect them to tell you any truth? Okay? So, would you rather believe the information contained in the catalog of creation provided by the one who created you and brought you into this existence because he loves you and wants you for what you are? Or would you rather suck into the information provided by channelers, those who channel entity and spirits, and actually those entities that they are channeling are the very enemy of the human race? Or would you rather listen to remote viewers who work for the government, or take the word of abductees, or what they call themselves contactees, who are messed with? They are messed with from this entity who are abducting them and contacting them. Okay? And these entities are part of the great deception that's to come. Your Creator made sure that the catalog of His creation is well preserved and well kept for those who are sincere in their search for the truth. Please don't take my word for anything. Just weigh, analyze, compare, and do further your own research on what I am about to share with you. Some of the facts may seem very strange to the point of unbelievable. So people, are you ready for the great truth? Okay. The true reason behind the cover-up and not lifting the truth embargo is to protect the ultimate goal of their agenda. Okay? There is an agenda that has been now going on for centuries. Okay? So this agenda is to deceive all mankind, rape them of their souls, and send them one-way ticket to hell. Okay? What's about to come with Planet X Nibiru and its crossing is beyond imagination, and certain events which will take place are unheard of. Many of the advanced researchers would ask, we know that Planet X Nibiru is real, that it is heading towards us, towards Earth, that it will cause catastrophic destruction, but are you saying there is much more to its coming than that? What evidence or proof are you basing your claims on? Now, if they break the silence and allow people to know the truth about Planet X and the global changes it will bring with it, and what's to come, the never heard of events it will generate as a consequence of the flyby, people will be on their hoods and won't buy into the coming great deception which will be performed by Lucifer and his minions on the very instance of the flyby. Okay? Lifting the cover-up will jeopardize and endanger the global elite, their agenda, which is actually being dictated and orchestrated already by Lucifer himself. Okay, so they are serving Lucifer and they are serving his agenda. So if they're gonna disclose and lift the cover up about Planet X, people will start questioning things about this planet and what it will do and everything. And that is one way that the people might discover some of the truth of what's coming. So they just leave the cat in the bag, and they will never talk about it, and they will never give true information to the people. So do you understand the reason for the cover-up now? Okay? Because if they lifted the cover-up, it will render thousands of years of work of Lucifer and his minions meaningless, and make the great harvest of human souls a failure. Okay? I say, in order for you to grasp and understand what I am about to reveal to you, please put any arrogance to the side, fasten your seat belt and remain quiet and hear me out. First things first. The first thing, it is not the first time that Planet X crosses close by Earth. So this coming crossing is not the first time that it's going to happen. It happened before, many times before, okay? Second, the geophysical structure of planet Earth is not what we have been taught it to be. Third, the human evolution on this Earth stretches back hundreds of thousands of years than most of us are led to think. Fourth, the goal of the whole creation is far more exciting, hopeful, and nobler than what the majority of people are led to think of it. Planet X and the flyby holds the key to the future of mankind, be it eternal salvation or eternal torment and perdition. What's coming, the timeline, what to do, how to prepare. So these are the things that I'm going to try to deal with. Okay? The sovereign living Lord of the creation is totally aware and in control. He's watching and constantly interacting with his creation, guiding the truther who believe in him to safety and eternal well-being. But again, due to the short time remaining till the event of the crossing, I will skip many of the details and go straight to what's important to know and share with you what will happen when Planet X crosses the solar ecliptic plane and gets closest to Earth. In the catalog of the creation, the event of crossing is called the known day, okay, or the great day in the beginning of the new age. A cosmic or galactic day equals thousands years. It is known to the Christian people, the biblical Christian people, as Judgment Day, end of times era day. beside the flip-flop, which will be the reversal of the poles. The poles will go upside down. And beside the global disasters, the mega tsunami, the large-scale earthquakes, the volcanic eruption, the severe droughts, the 400 or even more, 400 miles winds. We are already witnessing the process taking place as we speak. But bear in mind, within 1 or 2 years, all these events, they are gonna triple or quadruple, okay? Till the event of the crossing, that's gonna be the real catastrophe. So, Earth has already seen such an event numerous times in the past, except this time Planet X Nibiru will pass very, very close to Earth. These galactic cycles equal 9,000 years. So the orbit of Planet X Nibiru, the truth, it is 9,000 years, because if we went back, like many people claim, 3,600 and I don't know what, there is no proof. We don't find any material proof of evidence that 3,600 years ago that there has been a cataclysm, okay? But 9,000 years, which is the time Planet X takes to make one full orbit around the Sun. The last crossing actually happened at the time of the Prophet Abraham, peace and blessing be upon him. And the previous time to that was at the time of Prophet Salah. Maybe you never heard about Prophet Salah. He was sent forth to the nation of Samud. Well, on that crossing, the whole south region of the Arabic Peninsula, which had at that time two big thriving civilizations. One of them was called Ad, the city of Ad, and Samud. Samud actually was, in the description of the catalog of creation, it was the El Dorado, because all the description that was given of this civilization fits exactly with the description of the city of El Dorado, because they used gold to build their homes. Okay, so the whole city was built from gold and from silver, the cupolas. Anyway, but that's another topic. It is all mentioned in the catalog of the creation, as I said, which is a revelation from the creator of this universe for those who are seeking the truth. Okay, so city of gold never seen before or after. That region of the Arabic Peninsula at that time was an Amazonian forest. In full words, the nature and everything. It was an Amazonian forest, but the crossing of Planet X Nibiru turned it in what it is known today as the empty quarter desert of Saudi Arabia. But in the year 80s, I can't remember exactly, 1983, 85, a Canadian company was drilling for oil in that quarter desert of Saudi Arabia, and they stumbled across human remains, okay? These remains, when they uncovered the sand, they found giant human skeletons and giant skulls, to the point, they were really surprised, because These people, they were at least 15, 20 meters long in the posture of the skeletons. And the skulls, they were, similar to those of the modern human being. They were not apes. You could see that these skeletons and these skulls were of people like you and me. And now we are talking about 18,000 years ago. Okay, so that theory of Zakaria Sitchin, and you will discover that he's part of the Cabal, and what he did, there was an agenda attached behind that, is to disinform the people, to lead them to believe that they were created by the Anunnaki or whatever. As I said, that theory is completely bogus, because we do have the proof from archaeological findings that the first civilization is not the civilization of the Sumerian, okay? I mean, you can even look on YouTube, you will find about the city of Dwarka that they recently discovered underwater. It is in India. They discovered the whole city, and the carbon dating, they dated it 30,000 years ago. So the human beings did exist long before the Sumerian, okay? Let me catch my breath first. So this city of Dwarka in India. Do I need more to go in details to show you that the theory of modern man being the creation of the Anunnaki through DNA manipulation is completely bogus? That's all a load of crap, meant to prepare you for the coming great deception. I will tell you who those Anunnaki were, and who is Enki, who is Enlil in truth. Wow, bottom line, they were fallen angels, and those who came with them, they were servants who served these two fallen angels. I will go in full details later on, please bear with me. It is reported in the catalogue of creation and in many other legends of various nations on this planet, that each time that Earth goes through such a cycle and cataclysm, and an event of Planet X flyby and Earth remodeling, each of those events were accompanied by the arrival of strange non-human beings in great number, each time under a new pretext related to the reason of their presence, because each time they said something to the Sumerian, they said something else to the Incas, they said a different reason for the people in the Far East, okay? So each time they gave a different reason for their presence among the human beings. The Native American, the Hopis, they speak of the ant people who emerged from the underground tunnels and then in the Far East, in China and Japan, Vietnam, they speak of the red dragon and the descents who were gods who came from heavens. Inca spoke about the feathered serpent. Once again, please look at the Chariots of the God of Eric van Daniken, to get a better idea about what I'm talking about. Now, the catalogue of creation contains full details about those beings who appeared from time to time to walk among the human, then suddenly they disappear, leaving the promise behind that one day they will return. The real name of Enki, as mentioned in the catalogue of creation, is Marut. His real name is Marut. Enlil's real name is Harut. Okay? The truth is, today the planet is run by those fallen angels through their bloodline who are amongst the human. Because these fallen angels, when they came down to earth, they crossbred with the human females, and they have their bloodline still among us. And there is a false concept put in the mind of the people that the Nephilims, they were only giants and today they disappeared. Well, that's not true at all, because that bloodline is still among us today. And they are actually what we call the global elites. And they are themselves the Illuminati, because the Illuminati are also the bloodline of the serpent, of Enki. Enki is the serpent, okay? So let me go further on, because more details are coming that you will understand. So what they call this, they call it the blue bloodline, the children of the devil, because their bodies contain a certain percentage of DNA from those who from heaven to earth came. Actually, they came from the hollow earth, okay, in their blazing rockets. But for the indigenous people at that time of Sumeria, or for the Incas or the Hopis, you know, now for the Hopis, they came from underneath, they came from the tunnels, from underground. But in the case of the Sumerian and the Inca, you know, and also in Africa where you have pyramids built there, when they descended in these blazing rockets and people saw them, they said these are coming from heaven, from above. They had no idea of the origin from where these beings flew in the beginning. So the truth is that those people came from the hollow earth, and not from, it's our earth, it's beneath our feet. And this is another topic that I'm gonna talk about. So they came from, as I said, from above, but originally they came from the headquarters, from their hiding place in the hollow earth. Enlil was the head chief of the Nordics, what they call them today the Tolwites, or the Pleiadian, okay? He came with 12 Nordic tribes, all servants. Well, you know, the Nordics, they always look blonde hair with blue eyes. These are the Nordics. And Enki was the head of the reptilian race. He has other names also. The feather serpent, Lucifer. It is him, it is Satan himself, it is Iblis, it is the devil. Both Nordics and reptilian work in cahoots on one agenda, which is Lucifer agenda, because the Nordics, they were subdued by Enki in his followers. Okay, that means the reptilian race, they took over the Nordic race and they made them work for them for the agenda of Lucifer. If you want to have more details about that, go to chapter 2, verse 102, and go also to chapter 15, verse 38 from the catalog of creation. My point being, both of the fallen angels have full knowledge of the events which take place on the events of the crossing or flyby. But this coming event will be special, since beside the fact Earth's pole will go upside down with all the consequence, Earth will change its orbit to the opposite direction. The electromagnetic field of Planet X Nibiru will touch or collide with that of the Earth, and then the generated strong electrostatic energy from the collision will cause the rise of the dead from their graves to walk among us. Now I know many people are scratching their heads, but listen to me. Listen please till the end. Hear me out, and then afterward you can judge all the information. So as we said, the collision between the electromagnetic field of Planet X Nibiru with that of the Earth will have various consequences, from the pole reversal. It will, pull the Earth to the point of the poles will go upside down. So the position of the North Pole will go south, and that of the South will come up to the north. And more than that, it will cause also, as I said, a very strong electrostatic field in the Earth, which as consequence will harm a lot of people, human beings living on the surface of the Earth, and which will cause also the rise of the dead from their graves. Okay? So these people, they will walk among us. They are not zombies. I'm not talking about zombies, but really human beings like you and me, except that some of them will be a lot taller and bigger in posture, because these are people from ancient times. Okay? And I'm going to talk to you about more details about this fact of the rise of the dead. Why, and so that's what Lucifer, the deceiver or false messiah, is waiting for. That's what Enki is waiting for, because he needs this crossing to happen and to take place. Without this crossing, he cannot perform his deception. Okay? So he really needs this crossing, and he's watching for the events, because he's gonna claim that he is the one who caused the happening of these events and the rise of the dead, in order to convince people that he is the real Messiah. And we know he's a liar, and that's why we call him the deceiver. We call him the false Messiah. He's the Antichrist. Okay? He's waiting to start his march of deception across all the globe, and to all the nations. The upside down of the poles will cause Earth to be shaken violently. The shaking of the whole globe will cause the fall of the fortified barrier of Admiral Two Horns. I'm not talking about Admiral Beard, who flew into the South Pole. If you are interested to see that, you can put in the search in YouTube, the Untold War in Antarctica. Okay? And if you want to see also more about this, Google Smoky Gods. There is a lot of information also, because actually Admiral Beard, he flew into the hollow earth from the northern polar gate in 1936, and then later on in 1942, I presume, it was in the South Pole, but that's another topic. It's a long story too. But for now, the shaking of the whole globe through this collision between the electromagnetic field of Planet Nibiru and that of Earth will cause the destruction and the fall of the fortified barrier of Admiral Two Horns, Dhul Qarnayn. This will blow up the lid on the bottomless pit. You know, many people hear of the bottomless pit. What does it mean? It is a pit that does not have a bottom. It is a tunnel. And that's the shape of the hollow earth. Hollow earth has got two polar gates. And they are keeping this information from the people. They don't want you to know, because if they let you know that, then you know that the great deception will emerge from there. So this lid, this fortified barrier that's built in the middle of the hollow earth, will be destroyed during the crossing, and it will allow Gog and Magog to be released. Gog and Magog, these are beings who are servants, who are the armies of the Antichrist. And without them, he cannot perform his great deception. Okay? So a mass landing of alien crafts, what we call them UFOs, will occur, will happen on the event of the crossing. They will land in each corner of the street. Then you see beings coming out, but these are very handsome, attractive males and females who will come out of those spacecraft. They will claim that they are angels from heaven to rescue and take the believer to paradise. If you want to know more about the story of Admiral Two Horns and his journey in the hollow earth, go to chapter 18, verse 83 till 100 in the catalogue of creation. Okay? The most carefully guarded secret is the fact that the earth is hollow, that it is teeming of life, and that actually is the Garden of Eden, where the creation of Adam and Eve took place. The authentic story is reported in the catalogue of creation in various chapters. For instance, chapter 2, verse 30 till 37. Earth, for sure, not flat. The flat earth theory is put out there to divert people's attention from the truth. So when the great deception begins, no one will suspect that the so-claimed angel of the Garden of Eden, the ascended masters, were hiding in the whole earth. They want people to be taken by surprise and think of the so-called angels and their master to be real, coming from heaven, the way that the ancient Sumerian and Incas and other nations thought that it was the case. Do you get the picture? And please, don't take my word for granted. Do your own research about the hollow earth, the smoky god, the untold war of Antarctica, and watch the Third Reich. There is a documentary called The Third Reich, and there's a lot more of evidence, you know. But if you are too lazy to do your homework, you will never discover the truth, okay? So the real truth, earth is hollow, and the surface of the hollow earth is flat. You know, because we do have a detailed description of the inner earth, this tunnel called in the Bible the bottomless pit. Well, the hollow earth is flat, no hills, no mountains. And it does have got, of course, rivers and thriving vegetation inside of it. The hollow earth has no internal sun, because sometimes if you're going to research that on the internet, you will see that some people say that hollow earth has got an internal sun. That's not true. Rather, it is our sun that shines on the hollow earth through the polar gates. And the way that the light comes into the whole earth, it is 6 months through northern polar gate and 6 months through the southern polar gate. We all know that the axis of the earth is tilted, okay, 23.7 degrees, and the earth is orbiting around the sun. So what happened, the sun will shine and penetrate the northern polar gate from the date of 21st of March till the 21st of September. These are the dates of the equinox. Because at that time, the North Pole, through the tilt of the earth, will be exposed to the sun. Okay? The sun will shine through the whole hollow earth and exit from the southern entrance, the southern polar gate, which is then in the polar night of the south. Okay, because that part of the globe is hidden from the sun. But what comes out is the light that came from the northern polar gate. It will come out from the southern polar gate in order to perform what's called the aurora australis. Okay, so all those displays of light that they see in the South Pole, these are the result of the infiltration of the sun rays, which is our sun, onto the whole earth. As soon as the sun sets on the 21st of September, that means that's when the North Pole will start to go into the winter darkness. And many people know that those who live very high in the North Pole, they do have the midnight sun in the summer, you know, and in the month of June, because you have the equinox on 21st March, 21st September, and you have the two solstices, which is 21st of June and 21st of December. So the sun sets on the 21st of September in the northern gate, and it immediately rises from the southern polar gate and stays so until 21st of March. For the people who are inhabiting the inner earth, that is 1 day, okay? That's only 1 day. And for us who are living on the surface of the earth, it is 365 days, it is 1 year. During this period, from September 21st till March 21st, the sun rays penetrates the southern polar gate and exit through the northern polar gate, generating the northern light, aurora borealis. The tilt of the earth axis 23.7 degrees allows this phenomena of the sun shining on inner earth. Inhabitants of the inner earth have a longer span of life compared to those on the surface of earth, since 1 day to them is 1 year to us. The inner earth people enjoy a tropical weather a whole year long, okay? They also enjoy dancing crepuscular lights. People who went into this hollow earth, inner earth, they described, you know, very beautiful lights in different spectrum and all that. And as I said, even the catalog of creation gives us even a better description what to find and what you can see in the inner earth. Ever flourishing fauna, vegetation, large size exotic fruits, and exotic animals and birds kingdom that are extinct on the surface of earth. The inner earth is the Garden of Eden mentioned in the Holy Scripture. and birthplace of the first humans, Adam and Eve. Extensive information and a lot more details on the inner earth to be found in the catalogue of creation. One more important information: the inhabitants of the inner earth enjoy a pure, not polluted atmosphere. Physically, they are very attractive. On the day of the mass landing, in order to convince those on the surface, they will bring various items with them: exotic large size fruits, exotic birds, reptilians, never seen by those on the surface. They will say those items and more are from the garden of their father, except the Garden of Eden is not of their father. That's a lie. Originally it was meant for us, humans. But the serpent Lucifer, the deceiver, stole it from our father Adam and Eve after chasing them out of the Garden of Eden to the surface of earth by means of deception. Now, with the exception to the catalogue of creation, which remained authentic and unaltered, according to his author promise that he is the one who revealed the lexion or the catalogue of creation, and that he is the one who will protect it from enemies of the truth hands, to alter it or to fake it. All other scriptures lost their authenticity due to the alteration and embedded false dictation as to disinform and disorient the blindfolded revelation followers. The Illuminati groups, Brotherhood of the Serpent, the Babylon Mystery School, they are the elites of the hybrid bloodline of the Enlil and Enki, have the mission to cleverly edit and alter sacred scripture. One good example of that is the Christian Bible. In the Bible, many fakeries in order to prepare the minds for the coming great deception. I am sorry, I did not mean to bash Christian or the Bible, but truth must be told, okay? I'm not saying that the whole Bible was edited, but many parts of the Bible, they are not original, okay? Why is that? Because that the Illuminati who are in control, because they will claim that they are priests and they are, that's another topic. I mean, do your own research on this and watch how the head of the Christian society, the Pope in the Vatican, recently how he was kissing the hand of the Rockefeller and all that, you know. So, the top of the great deception is what's known to Christian people, Christian religious people, as the rapture. The rapture is the mass landing event of flying saucers that will occur across the planet immediately after the flyby. So is this great deception going to be played? So yeah, this is the way that this great deception is going to be played. So-called ascended masters will appear. They will tell you these are ascended masters, but in truth they are fallen angels, you know, and it is usually the Nordics who will play that part of the ascended masters. They will appear in those alien crafts which will come in a mass landing, very handsome, beautiful women and young men. They will claim that they are angelic beings from heaven on earth to help the believers. Any human willing to accept their offer and accepting their father, Enki, because they call him father. The Illuminati, they call him master. So anyone who is accepting to worship Enki, Lucifer, the serpent, the feather serpent himself, the false Messiah, the eternal enemy of mankind. Anyone willing to worship him as a god, he will be allowed to take as many women or men from those fake angelic beings as he wishes. Then once boarding those crafts, they will fly them through one of the polar gates into the Garden of Eden, the land of Shambhala or Agartha. Okay, Google Agartha or Shambhala. You know, the Tibetan monks, they are, among others, they are called the Garden of the Secrets of Agartha, because there is a tunnel in the Tibetan mountain that leads to the whole earth. And that's not the only location on earth. Many other places on earth, in California, in the United States, in Italy, Neapel, or in Egypt, under the Giza pyramid, there is a tunnel that leads to the land of Agartha, which is inside the inner earth. Okay? So, they will fly these people to the city of Shambhala or Agartha, because that's the promised Garden of Eden for the believer, that it belongs to their father, the great deceiver Lucifer, the Antichrist. But it's not true. He's a liar. That's why it's called the Great Deception. You know, when deciphering the number of the beast, which is supposed to give you his name, the 666, the number of the beast, we got his name. Because the meaning of 666, you have to look into the Aramaic alphabet, which letter has got the numeric value of 600, and look for the letter that have got a numeric value of 60, and then after that look at which Aramaic letter does have got the numeric value of 6, and that way we could decipher the name of the beast. It's Jesus, okay, Jesus, because the Aramaic letters, as I said, this was the language that Jesus and John spoke at the time. You know, this is for the Christian people. Anyway, on the night previous to the flyby, both the true Messiah, Yeshua, because his real name is in the catalog of the creation, Isa, the son of Virgin Mary. So, yeah, for the non-Arabic speaker, it is Yeshua. And the false Messiah, the deceiver or Antichrist, both of them, they will mark their presence among the humans. Without the crossing of the Nibiru, the Antichrist can't perform his deception. Remember, I already informed you that the electrostatic energy resulting from the collision of the electromagnetic field of Nibiru and that of Earth will cause the dead to rise from their graves. That's what the Antichrist is waiting for, in order to claim that it was him who raised those dead people, that it is him who caused hell to pass close to Earth, meaning Planet X, because Planet X is literally hell. After the crossing, when the tails, comes by, and all the asteroids and all the comets and brimstones, hitting Earth, people are really gonna witness hell crossing close to Earth. And so he will claim with his minions that he is the real Messiah, that he caused those dead people to rise and to cause the hellfire to pass close to Earth. that his angelic being, the so-called angelic being, is going to bring with him, that they will rescue those who accept him as the Son of God, and later on as God himself. Okay, so who are those people who will be raised from the dead, and why such an event allowed to take place? It is all explained in the catalogue of creation. The event is called the first resurrection. Okay, that's why we are speaking now of the judgment day. And when we say day, that does not mean a day 24 hours. It's not a human day. This is a galactic day. It's one day by the Lord is thousands years of what we count. Okay, so the reason why to bring those people back from the grave is explained in the catalogue of creation. The event is called the first resurrection, but those who did not access this information will believe that it is the last and final resurrection. Well, there is a huge difference between the two. The final resurrection will take place after the end of the world. And we are not talking about that now. Okay? So the final resurrection will come when all life on earth is finished, where earth will turn into a fireball, which will be sucked with all other planets into the black hole of the sun. But here we are talking about the crossing and about the first resurrection, not the final one, because on the final resurrections all beings that ever roamed earth will be gathered, from the first till the very last one, while this coming resurrection, the first resurrection, will see only the rise from the dead of certain people from various ancient nations who disobeyed their messenger and rebelled against the word of the Creator. They are going to be given a second chance to believe and follow the real Messiah, Isa or Yeshua, the son of Virgin Mary. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit tired, so for this time I will end it here. Next time I will try to discuss things that I escaped in this video and give you more details about the year of the coming of Planet X. So in the meanwhile, stay healthy. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.